All right, what is happening, folks? I had a little handy dandy yellow flag like the umpires have. I dressed up for one Halloween as an official, but I can't seem to find it. So for headgear, this is as close as we're gonna get. Oh my gosh. Um, anyways, it is 1 o'clock on a beautiful Sunday here in Greenwood, South Carolina. It's August the 31st, the last day of August. Uh, and what we're going to do today is do a little tribute to Lee Corso. I'm going to go over some stuff about him and uh, just pay some tribute and respects and everything to Coach Lee Corso. So I'm going to jump right into it. We may get into some other things after that, but so Coach Lee Corso has been with College Game Day since 1987, hired by ESPN to do College Game Day. I'm sure he had a ton of picks before he started his headgear, but in 1996, Corso started sporting the headgear, starting with Brutus Buckeye, the Ohio State mascot, and that was both a tribute to Kirk Herbstreit and his wife, as well as a tribute to his pick overall. They did a fun little story about it on game day yesterday. It started in 1996. They had to ask a couple different times. Herbstreit's wife was a track star or tennis star at Ohio State. Or say it was something of that generality. So Corso started the headgear picks in 1996, and he ended it just how he started it, with a Brutus Buckeye pick for the Ohio State Bucks. Overall, with his headgear picks, he's 287 and 144. Prior to him being with College Game Day and ESPN, he coached, he played. I'm just going to give a little life story of him. Coach Corso, born Lee Richard Corso, born in Cicero, Illinois, on August 7th, 1935. He just turned 90 earlier this month. He played college football at Florida State. He was a quarterback and cornerback, primarily cornerback. He played a lot of defense more than he did offense. While he was at Florida State, he roomed with both Burt Reynolds, RIP, and with future Miami baseball coach Ron Frazier. Him and Burt Reynolds remained relatively close friends up until Burt Reynolds' death in 2018. While he was playing there, he set the school record for interceptions, which was 14 at the time. It was broken later by Monk Bonasarte. I don't know. Some of you older folks that know that, y'all can help me on the enunciations or whatever of these names. But so he set that record in, I want to say 1960 something, and it wasn't broken until 1979. Corso graduated with a bachelor's degree in physical education in 1957. He stayed in school. He didn't play after 57. He played from 53 to 57 at Florida State. Graduated 57 with one degree, a bachelor's. He continued to stay on and got a master's degree in administration and supervision in 1958. Wasn't too long after that, the very next year, he started coaching. He went to Maryland under his former Florida State coach, Tommy Nugent. And he was at Maryland as a quarterbacks coach from 1959 to 1965. They did a little story on it. Prior to Corso, He was the face to help bring in the first black player in the ACC. He did a lot of talking behind the scenes to Darrell Hill, a wide receiver who was at Navy, at the Naval Academy. And in 1962, Darrell Hill decided that he was going to take Lee Corso up on his talking, and he came to Maryland and was the very first black player to play in the SEC, or the ACC, excuse me. In 1966, he became a coach at Navy, defensive backs coach. He was there until 1968. And in 69, he got his first head coaching job at Louisville. And while he was there, he coached his later on colleague, Tom Jacks, who was there while Lee was a coach. So little coaching tree for Corso that wound up later reuniting behind the scenes. Lee coached at Louisville from 1969 to 72. They had a 28-11-3 record whenever he left. He took Louisville to its second ever bowl game in 1970, so that's just a notable fact. He was a pretty good coach. I mean, he was below 500 as a coach, which I'm going to talk more about. But Corso, I mean, he was legendary. He left an impact on everybody that played for him, everybody that was around him while he was coach, and even later on. But after he left Louisville, he got hired as Indiana's head coach in 1972. In 72, he was hired, but he coached Indiana from 1973 to 82. In 1979, they beat undefeated BYU in the Holiday Bowl, earned a 16th place ranking, which was their first top 25 rank since 1967. So they went 12 years without being ranked in the top 25, which back then wasn't Associated Press. They had two rival companies. It was Associated Press, and then there was I had wrote it down somewhere, but I can't seem to find it. Anyways, the Associated Press has a rival that is like an index journal rival, kind of, sort of. And in that press, that's where they got ranked 16th at while he was there coaching at Indiana. At Indiana, he had a record of 41, 68, and 2 after 10 years of being there. His overall head coaching record was 73, 85, and 6. After he left from Indiana, he went to the USFL. And for those that didn't know, yes, it used to be around back then. He coached the Orlando Renegades in 1985 and was set to return in 1986, but the league got suspended and they decided they weren't going to play for a while. I don't think they brought it. The USFL didn't come back until 2019, 2020, the last time it was functional, before rebranding into all these other things and eventually the UFL. But then, as I said, in 1987, he was hired by Game Day. And not only is he pretty stout in picking Ohio State, with his headgear picks, he's 17-0 when picking USC, the Trojans. He's 4-0 when he picks Virginia Tech and North Dakota State as headgear picks. I mean, that's all Corso's done since 1996 is headgear picks. But undefeated record with both USC, Virginia Tech, and North Dakota State. And for the gamer fans, Corso was featured in every one of ESPN's NCAA games since until 2011. And with 6-gen console editions, it featured a pre-show. Those NCAA games featured a pre-show with Corso in his headgear picking picks. They have a feature in NCAA instead of Ask Madden, it's Ask Corso. So the man he's been around. You know, he's done a lot of things. So going to get into some characteristic traits of him in his personal life when he's not working for ESPN on College Game Day. He serves as a director of business development for Dixon Ticonderoga, which is a Florida-based manufacturing company. They produce number 2 pencils. That is a big reason behind why Corso always sports a number 2 pencil, or primarily always had sported a number 2 pencil. I don't think I've ever seen him, if you watch it from 10 to 12 o'clock and don't just tune in at the end, every game day I've ever watched, he's had a pencil, whether it be behind the booth or if it's in their segments where they're reviewing footage or ranking teams based on their perceptions. Corso is sporting a number 2 pencil at some point during this show, always has, because he is an employee or whatever you want to say there. He's one of the higher ups there. So in his charity, he's an honorary. He has a couple charity things he does. The primary one being Coaches Curing Kids Cancers. He's an honorary chairman for that. They raise money for cancer research for children through football related. It's not just football, it's sports related coaching. They raise money for child cancer. Just an exceptional person, Lee Corso is. He's, man, something. So with that, in 2010, he was honored with the National College Football Awards Association's contributions to College Football Award for his exceptional contributions to college football and a Lifetime of Achievement and Integrity Award. That happened at Walt Disney World in December of 2010. Whenever he was growing up, he grew up in Florida, in the Miami area. He was in the Miami Boys Club, and he is listed in the Boys and Girls Clubs of America Hall of Fame. And so it's a lot of information. Just Lee Corso is phenomenal. He's one of the best people on television that I believe you could ever watch. The man did this all the way up until he was 90. He would probably continue to do it, but he had health problems. He suffered a stroke in 2009, and he hasn't really been the same since that. He's still been a phenomenal person to watch and legendary and memorable and everything. So, like I said, he suffered that stroke. Since then, he's had partial paralysis. He had partial paralysis at that whole year after that stroke. He struggled with certain functions. And since his stroke in 2009, he's had some memory issues. He ain't been all there. He's had some cognitive stuff that he suffered from that stroke. It was really bad. And so ultimately, once you suffer some kind of stroke like that, during COVID, he got sick, bounced back from that. It's time. He just turned 90 years old. He figured he put a cap on his career with Game Day, and he's going to be remembered forever, for sure. I'm sure he'll probably be around the scenes, and he'll be at a few games here and there. But Coach Corso, we from Broski Ballers, and anybody else who is a fan of college football and loves you, we all wish you well, Coach. Go spend time with your wife Betsy and your 4 children, your 10 grandchildren. You ain't gonna be forgotten for sure, and we hope to see you around at a few games here and there. And that's pretty much it on Lee Corso. So we wish you well in your retirement, and just thank you for all you've done for this sport, Corso. And with that, I'm gonna get close to putting a cap on this. Yesterday, he picked I did want to say that. So he picked Ohio State very first in his ever first one. He won that one. He won his last one picking Ohio State yesterday. He's also primarily always picked Florida State games because he coached there. They won yesterday. Out of 4 out of the 6 teams he picked yesterday won. 2 of them are still to come. He picked Miami, and he picked South Carolina. So we'll see if he finishes his career 6-0. And like I said, we wish Coach well in his retirement and in spending time with his family. And we're going to go ahead and get off of here and call it quits. And we'll see you back when we see you back. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all y'all do. And go college football. All righty then. From Corey here at Broski Ballers, we wish everyone well. We got a few games left this week. Got Virginia Tech, South Carolina, and Notre Dame, Miami, at Miami. And then tomorrow, TCU is in Chapel Hill. And then that's going to be rounded out for this. And our picks for next week will be coming to the page. That's pretty much all I got. I could ramble and could talk about some other things, but as we get closer, we're going to try to put some polls out for predicting conference champions. We're going to try to put some polls out for predicting national champion. Well, not championship. We'll get into the playoffs and try to do some polls on that. Got some teams that people expected to make it that are probably not going to make it. But like I said, we will try to get some stuff going with some polls and stuff if we don't do anything else. And between now and April, May, June-ish of next year, I'm going to try to sort out podcast issues and try to get back into the podcasting part of the show. Never really did a heck of a lot on there, but we want to get back into it. But from here, I'm going to wish everyone a happy and blessed Sunday. And for those watching college football, go Gamecocks. Go Hills. But my fiance is a TCU fan, so, I mean, however it goes, it goes. Belichick's debut is happening tomorrow. Carson Beck's debut is happening today at Miami. Virginia Tech, they got their quarterback back. Lenore Sellers, those Lenore Sellers for Heisman chance, we're going to see. His little brother is going to be on the field. I expect him to be on the field with him today, so that'll be fun to see a brother-to-brother connection. I say from here, I'm signing off. Corey Brooks of Broski Ballers. Thank everyone for support. Thank you, Lee Corso, for all you've done for this sport. We wish everyone well, and until next time, peace. We'll see you next time.